Is the microphone on this time? Yep. Okay. Let's do it again. Okay, we're back. We're doing the House of Wind. It's going to be exciting. So you don't have to do anything in this room. There's platforms above bottomless pits, and that's kind of the thing in the House of Wind. You can hit that button like we did, but it doesn't matter. You can even do the stage. Otherwise, go up or down, and we went down. Okay, I'll stop being butthurt. With this room, we got zombies and harpies. You know how to beat them, and you got enough room to kill them. Get that top zombie and the harpy in that upper area. Go ahead and push that yellow button. And then when you cross on your way down, don't even try to kill the zombie in the traditional way. Instead, let him charge at you, and then duck out of the way, and he'll fall to his death. You can also get hit directly like we did. That's a good strategy. So once you kill everything, you want to make sure you have both of those yellow buttons pressed. Those are going to raise the platforms on the left and right. Those blue buttons temporarily lower the platforms so that we can get on them and move to the upper section of the stage. Stay on that blue button until you're able to drop down onto the moving platform. Then you're going to cross all your way to the left, moving up on the right side platform, across the stairs, and then back on the moving platform, and then up once more to maneuver your way to where you need to be. Once you're up there, kill the two skeletons and go on down. Okay. So by this point in the series, hopefully you've developed quite a bit of patience. I know I have because I'm recording this section again after I fully narrated it. So, the basic gist of it is you need to hit every single one of those yellow buttons. So if you thought it was bad dying in the water stage after waiting 20 minutes, this one's going to suck if you fall down. No matter how tedious it is, you're going to have to hit all those buttons in order to lower those two platforms by the Silver Key Kid and kill him. Theoretically, if you really wanted to, you can skip this Silver Key Kid entirely. If you do that though, you're going to have to kill another Silver Key Kid in another house. That means getting 3 more bronze keys. And if you're only trying to do 2 houses each, then you got to kill this kid. I find that the best way to do this is to designate a leader. So you'll see that I'm moving from the platform, hitting the yellow buttons while player 2 stays in place. This is purposeful and not quite fun for her. Essentially, I will move so I can hit every single yellow button in our near vicinity. When we're ready to move, I signal to her up, down, left, right, you know those directions, to tell her to move at that time. This way, we reduce the risk by making sure we don't move unless we truly have to. You can memorize how the platforms move around, and if you do, good job. That's kind of boring, but you know. And then once you get them all, you're going to exit to the bottom right or left. Before you go after the Silver Key Kid, I would recommend that you take out the skeletons in the shades, unless you're score chasing, of course. Both of those act as obstacles as the Silver Key Kid runs along the stage, and if you think it's bad enough to die in the process of hitting those buttons, it's even worse to die when you're going after the Silver Key Kid and have to do it all over again. Once you're done with all this stuff, go to the left. We have a new enemy. Spores if you want to go with like the true name, or cotton balls if you want to call it like it is. These cotton balls are not the most deadly of creatures. When you run your rope over them, they poof out of existence, and that's about it. They will gravitate towards you. They're not going to specifically seek and destroy, and they don't go any faster, but if you're in their area of aggro, so to speak, they'll float towards you. This is nice because it allows you to circle around them rather easily. So in this sense, they can't really kill you easily individually, but they can become a pain in the arse when they're clumped together and you have to deal with the spikes, moving platforms, and bottomless pits. You have one zombie guy that you can kill at any point in the middle, and by this point you've already seen player 2 and I kill half of those puff balls on the right side of the stage. For those of you who are the audio listeners for some reason aren't paying attention, what player 2 and I did is go onto those moving platforms, kill a few of those puff balls, and then position ourselves in the upper or lower portions of those moving platforms, super close to those spikes. You got to be on the edge of those moving platforms basically to not get impaled. You're going to need to hit both of the yellow buttons in order to progress through the stage. I haven't tried it myself, but I don't think you'll be able to hit the yellow button, go onto the moving platform, and then reach the upper or lower stairs all in one go before the moving platforms start to recede. As such, after you hit the yellow button, you're going to have to go onto the moving platform and skirt to the edge so you don't get hit by the spikes, and then come back and go up the stairs. It's a little tedious, but again, patience is rewarded. Alternatively, if you die and you happen to be on the right side of the stage at the beginning of this, you can just go and hit the right button and then leave the stage moving up. We got some shifty platforms on this stage. With these blue buttons, when you're on them, the platforms will crisscross with each other and move into new areas. Moving off those buttons will return the platforms to their original areas. This stage is exceedingly difficult with a shorter rope, but it is possible to get it done, as you'll see with player 2 and I. In order to make sure that you can crisscross over to the zombie on the left, one of you is going to have to stay on the blue button while the other one is on the moving platforms. You'll kind of leapfrog yourself over to the zombie, and you gotta watch it because I can't really explain it because I suck at that. As I mentioned, for those with shorter ropes, you may have to do some acrobatics in the sense that one of you may have to get on the blue button and then run off while the platforms are still moving in order to make sure you get to the next platform. When you kill the zombie, you can go ahead and get that skeleton to the far right. but that takes a lot of work. I would just go on up once you find you're in good position to leave the room. Again, I'll explain how to do this, but I don't know how to do this, so sorry. But once you are eventually done, we're going to go against the mini-boss who is just above us. So get ready. The Aeromancer is the easiest of the mini bosses. So we're going to show one time where we died, and then we're going to kill him. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible because I don't have a lot of time to speak. Essentially, the Aeromancer is a big fat bird that flies around the stage and occasionally drops on solid ground. When he does that, he's going to possibly show his badonkadonk and then go in a direction, which will cause wind to push you in that same direction. You're going to need to run in the opposite direction of the wind in order to not fall into those bottomless pits. Otherwise, stay in that middle area until the Aeromancer goes on one of the cardinal direction spaces. Up, down, left, right, you know the drill. Wrap around his big thick body and then you're done. Good job. There are 4 skeletons each in the diagonal corners. Kill them, get some lives, and then move on up. We got more yellow buttons and more puffballs. Everything you want in this game. You'll see a bunch of blue buttons on the left. And that's what makes this room really special because you gotta create one single line of yellow buttons. Hitting one blue button will pause one of the platforms, allowing you to stay on it until it aligns with the platform above it. Get off that one at the right time and you got yourself a small bridge. What you'll see player 2 and I do is create a bridge of 2 platforms, get on it, and have the puffballs come to us. This allows us to kill a bunch of puffballs without having to get all the platforms together. This is most important because if you die, like we will, you don't have to go back and do all the work of putting all the platforms in a row again. When you've brought all the puffballs you can to you, go ahead and add one more platform to your bridge. Keep doing this until all the puffballs are dead. Once all the puffballs are dead, you're going to complete the bridge, creating one single line of yellow buttons. Hitting all these buttons in quick succession will lower the platforms on the top and bottom, allowing you to exit up. Unlike other buttons, these buttons pop up rather quickly, so you're going to have to time it just right in order to hit them all and go on the platform just as it's rising. I recommend that one of you stays on the bottom platform while the other person's on the second most bottom platform. Once your bridge starts to pass over the doorway, as you'll see, move on up as quickly as possible, and that should time it just so that you're on the platform as it's rising. I know I've said platform a lot, so I probably should use other adjectives, but I really don't want to use my English major today, let alone ever. When you enter this room, the harpy will immediately descend upon you and kill you, and that's called spawn camping, and it's generally frowned upon. In order to fight him, you'll have to use your quick reflexes to go on either side of him and wrap around him just at the right moment without breathing at all, and then you'll be good. You have one more harpy to kill and a bunch of puffballs once more. I know I introduced them as cotton balls, but puffballs is sticking better. These oblong platforms are easy enough to stay on. You're just going to have to work together to eliminate all the puffballs and stay alive. Like a previous room, the hard part's going to be getting the silver key kid. You're going to ignore the blue buttons entirely. Those control the bottom two elevators, whereas the yellow buttons control the upper two elevators, which we need to do. The two of you are going to get on top of those bottom two yellow buttons. You're going to wait there until all the yellow buttons align in the middle, at which point you're going to make a mad dash to the upper left elevator. You're going to have to hit every single yellow button on the way, and you can't really dilly-dally, otherwise the elevator will move on up before you're on top of it. Take it patiently, you can't really die unless you're being reckless. Once you kill that silver key kid, you're going to do the same maneuver for the upper right platform. The only difference is the upper platform is not going to be in the ideal spot by the time you can reach the elevator. So unlike moving to the left elevator, you're going to have to wait a little bit before you make the mad dash, giving you just enough time to move on to the upper right elevator as it's coming up. I explained it terribly, so watch it again, and that's probably the motto of my entire video series is mute me and just watch it. And that is totally okay, as long as you don't tell me. Now that you're on the upper right platform, exit to your right. We have another one of the hardest stages in this house where we have almost a whirlpool of platforms. Go ahead and kill the skeleton on the upper left, and there are hidden skeletons on each of those pedestals. They're harder to get, so I won't really go after them. You're going to need to move to the edge of the upper or middle column to bait the harpy to attack you. You do not want to kill him in the middle. Instead, you do want to wait till he's on that left side because you're going to have more room. I know I recently just said it, but seriously, you're going to have to watch this in order to figure out how to win. But I'm going to try to explain it because reasons. Getting to the middle platform is easy enough. As you notice, the outer orbit of platforms will move under other floors and can knock you off. Once you're in the middle orbit, you're in safer territory because you can't be knocked off. You can just fall off. Work your way into the middle using teamwork, and then you'll finally be in a safe spot that's not moving. Here's the trickier part. That button is time released, which lowers the elevators to your right. You're going to need to run quickly to one of those elevators before they rise in order to move on. Essentially, you want to go southeast. You're going to exit that middle platform to your right and then move diagonally southeast until you're in that good spot. And then run to that elevator. Once you're up there, the zombie should be facing away from you for the most part, allowing you to easily dispatch him. Do that, go on down, and good job. We have one final room of enemies. This one's relatively simple as long as you keep your head. You've dealt with these puffballs before, so go ahead and kill them all while working your way to the left to hit that yellow button. That yellow button raises the elevators on the right hand side, allowing you to leave the stage. I also understand that I started calling those platforms elevators because I am using my adjectives now and I'm proud of myself. There are some hidden skeletons in those little crevices on the upper and lower portions of the stage. You can kill them, but you may die like player 2 and I did, so if you're wondering why there's that one clip scene, that's because I didn't want to show us dying. And we're back to the original room. You've learned from the other stages how to maneuver on these platforms. You're going to have to get all 4 of the yellow buttons in order to raise the elevators on the right and left side. Go ahead and kill the skeletons if you'd like. They're not too difficult to kill in this area. And then you're done. This house is not the most exciting in my book because it uses timed obstacles. What I mean by that is the platforms move on a timer, so waiting is a functional part of the mechanic. I don't like waiting, I'm impatient, and you need patience for this game. But oh well, you're done with it, exit to your right. Congrats on being the 4 intermediate houses. The next ones are torturous, and until then, well, bye.